Hey folks, thanks for hitting play on my inaugural bird and wildlife photography vlog. This is Garrett Vinn. I've had an idea for a while to do a series of what I would call more rapid vlogs. And what I mean by that is kind of vlogs that get right to the point of the skills, technique, thought process behind creating wildlife images, and hopefully things that'll make you not just a better photographer, but a better naturalist as well. So the vlog would focus, not just on photography, but also natural history, behavior, phenology of wildlife, and also on techniques that cause the least disturbance, minimal to no disturbance to wildlife, because that's really what I try to focus on. So if that sounds good to you, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel, hit like on this video, and please leave me some comments below, letting me know what kind of content you'd like to see here on the channel. So today I'm out in a lowland river bottom area along the Columbia River. It's a beautiful place right now. It's August, and this is a month when, birds especially become very quiet. A lot of photographers kind of put their cameras down in August, particularly bird photographers. It's kind of past the nesting season. It's become very quiet other than the crickets. And a lot of birds are molting and just not looking their best. But August is the time of year when shorebird migration southbound from the Arctic breeding grounds really picks up. So it's a great time to start heading back out to wetlands and looking for those fresh juvenile shorebirds that are really beautiful this time of year. And it's also a great opportunity, especially a year like this. It's been really hot and dry, to find wetlands that are receding and potentially of trapped fish and other prey items. It can be a great time for herons, egrets, and as I'm seeing out here, there's a lot of white pelicans flying over, so maybe a chance at some white pelicans here too. But what I'm doing today is I'm going to head out, set up a blind with the idea of coming back tomorrow morning. So I'm really looking for areas that are concentrating birds with the idea of being stationary and having the birds come to me. It's a really non-disruptive way to shoot at a wetland. If you kind of just walk around with a camera, you're liable to flush a lot of things and not really get close to that much stuff. But the idea will be to set up a blind, come back tomorrow morning. So stick with me, and that's what we'll do. Appreciate you being here. Thanks. So I've been walking around for the last hour and a half and looking for areas with concentrated activity of foraging birds. And I found a really nice spot that's right behind the camera here. And I sat back in the forest here for about the last half an hour just watching. And it looked like a great spot, but I didn't want to come in and flush the birds. But luckily, a bald eagle came in, flushed all the geese and ducks, and the herons and egrets went flying. So this is a great opportunity to come in real quick, set up a blind, and then take off. So I've got a great opportunity here with a little bit of mud flat near the shore and then some nice shallow foraging water where the herons and egrets were feeding. So hopefully this is a really productive area, and it'll be a great spot tomorrow morning when things have settled back down. Hopefully the birds have come back in, and I'll have some great opportunities at this spot. So I'm at the spot where I'm going to put the blind, and as you can see, pond is behind me. But I've got these mud flats a little bit off to my right, and then open water close to shore a little bit more to my left. So basically I've got good foraging area, really pretty tight to shore for wading birds, but then some nice mud flats off to the side. So hopefully I'll get some opportunities with the sandpipers as well. So I'm going to grab the blind and we'll set that up next. So I'm going to be using a Tragopan V6 blind. The reason I'm using this blind is because it's pretty small, but it has the option of putting a vestibule on it. So I'll be able to shoot at ground level or seated, and it has a floor. And since it's pretty muddy here, I'm gonna like having that floor to lay on when I'm shooting right down at ground level. So I'm gonna get this thing set up and walk you through some of that. As you can see, blind puts up in just a second just by unfolding the legs, pulling a ripcord, set it down, and stake out the corners is what I'll do next. As you can also see, I'm putting it right near the edge of the lake. I want to get really low water level. Luckily, it's kind of dry because the lake's been drying up, so it's kind of hard here near the edge, which is going to be great. So the next thing I'm going to do here is remove the door to put the vestibule on. So I've got the blind roughly set up here. I've got the vestibule on the blind, so I have a floor in the blind. And let's take you around the front here real quick. So I've got the floor in the blind here now. I've got my opening here for ground level shooting. Got my main shooting window if I'm seated, and I've got basically a mesh lens sleeve here, which I can also see through around the lens, so it gives me visibility around the camera. And then I've got the option on the side here of using these little windows for ventilation. You take these drawstrings, that opens up these windows from the inside. I'm gonna leave them closed for now in case it rains. I've got those on both sides. They've got this nice roof ventilation. So if it gets hot tomorrow, I should stay fairly cool in here. Here's the outside view of this rain flap that can be operated from within the blind, and these peepholes that can be opened or closed. So there we go, ready for action tomorrow. So just wanted to recap real quick now that I've not stopped sweating, but settled down a bit here. So I've got my blind set up. I want to go through a little bit of the thinking. I want the blind at water level, close to the water. I want a distant background. I don't want anything that's too close. So when I set up the blind, picked my spot, I really looked at backgrounds down from, getting on my hands and knees and getting an idea what backgrounds are going to look like. Looking out for obstructions, anything in front of the blind that might get in my way tomorrow. Wanted to make sure I didn't have any of those. And then I looked at the habitat out front. I can see fish moving in the water, little ripples, like constantly. So I think this is going to be a really good spot tomorrow. There's tons of birds flying around. Fall migration actually seems to be happening. I saw some white-fronted geese fly over, which seems really early for that. And there's a ton of shorebirds, like literally right here next to me already. So as far as the habitat in front of the blind, though, I've got some what looks to be a little bit deeper water, more appropriate for wading birds, foot deep, 2 feet deep kind of stuff. And then kind of falling away to the right of the blind, I've got some mud flats with shorebirds. So I've got opportunity both at the wading birds getting relatively close, shorebirds getting really close. One other thing that I did real quick, I know generally where the sun is going to rise tomorrow. I know I want the sun at my back because it's going to be overcast conditions tomorrow most likely, so I'm not trying to shoot backlit. It's not going to be sunny. So I want the sun at my back. Even though it's going to be overcast, you still get directional light in overcast skies. It's It's one thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to or realize is if you stand in one place and turn in a circle during overcast conditions, you'll always see a direction that looks best, almost always. So pay attention to direction of light even in overcast conditions. I also, even though I know roughly where the sun's going to come up, I have an app here. I use one called Photo Pills, where you can use your camera and it'll show you exactly where the sun is going to rise and set. So I wanted to, know exactly where the sun is going to rise, so I could really pinpoint the angle of my blind just the way I want it. And I'm not aiming to shoot everything perfectly front lit if the sun does come up, but I'm going to be shooting, 35 to 45 degree arc in front of the blind, most likely. So I'll get a little bit of variation in how birds are lit. They'll be roughly front lit, but not so much that they're totally flat if I can get off to a little bit of an angle. So the idea will be that tomorrow I'll come out here in the morning. I'm going to bring a chair. I'm going to bring a pad, a camping pad to lay on, because I know I'll probably be laying down and sitting seated in a small chair. I'm going to bring a tripod, gimbal head for shooting when I'm seated. And then I'm going to have a small ground pod to use also with a gimbal head, most likely, when I'm in a lying down position. And you'll see when I start shooting tomorrow some of the ideas between shooting high and low and the different effect that'll get for you. So I think that's about it for here. Looks like it's going to be a great spot, and I guess I'll see you in the morning. Thanks for coming along. So the morning's getting off to a little slower start than I had hoped. It's sunny, which I wasn't anticipating. I had a little group of dowitchers and yellowlegs land briefly in front of the blind, but they just stayed for a minute and flew on. And it looks like, there's some teal. This pair of bald eagles is flying around a bit, so that might have things unsettled here. There's not any waterfowl out here right now. So just still waiting and hoping for the best. So I've got a pretty incredible scene out here right now. Great egrets and great blue herons have been dropping in, presumably coming in from their night roost just after sunrise as it started to warm up. And there's at least 30, 35 birds out here right now. Right at sunrise, it was quite sunny, but now some fog is rolling through, so I'm kind of getting some mixed overcast, foggy kind of light. It looks like it's going to cloud up, which actually I think is going to be really nice for these birds right now with the backgrounds that I have. So I think it's just a matter of time before some birds start getting closer to my blind, foraging closer to shore. So I'm going to get down to ground level. I've shot a few images a little bit higher of the groups of birds, but I think I'm going to get a bit lower, get a little bit different background, and just wait for birds to start coming in close. I've moved down to ground level, water level shooting. I've got my pad right here, and plenty of room back here behind me for my legs. So I want to get I'm getting right to the height where I've got the background that I want on these birds. I'm just gonna keep my head down, keep following birds that are fishing, and just be ready for that moment when they try to spear fish and try to get some shots of them fishing. And they're also quite a bit of interactions of birds chasing each other, acting a little bit kind of territorial over their feeding space, which they'll do. So I'm going to start shooting and see what I get. So I'm following this great egret right now. I'm almost full frame. I'm trying to stick with one bird that I like the background on, that's foraging until it actually strikes and tries to catch something. There's so many other things going on. You can just go crazy like chasing things. So I'm trying to stick with one bird at a time for a while that's a nice frame with the hopes of getting them catching a fish. Oh, this guy. Yes. Yes. So a couple of quick shooting notes here. I'm aiming to shoot action, so I'm sticking with a pretty high shutter speed of 1/2500th of a second for the most part. It's become cloudy, so I'm having to keep my ISO up more than I generally would like to, but it's a necessity in this situation. The good thing is these are large birds, so even near frame filling, they're pretty distant from the camera. So I'm able to shoot wide open and get plenty of depth of field. I'm shooting with a 600 millimeter and a 1.4 teleconverter using a Nikon D850, so I've got huge image files, can crop a little if I like. But the key here is definitely shutter speed to get these birds frozen. So hopefully this lasts a while longer. I mean, I'm just shooting as many frames as I can of birds striking at fish, so I'm going to have a ton of photos to go through. But I've already peeked at a few, and I'm pretty certain I'm going to have some pretty awesome stuff. This has been more than I could have imagined. You know, usually you don't get this lucky on your first attempt at a location. This is also an amazing example of the type of opportunities you can develop by using a photography blind. I would never be able to sneak up on this spot and get this kind of access to shooting herons and egrets in a place like Oregon, maybe in Florida, but not in Oregon. And if I had tried to, I probably would have flushed all these birds, caused a big disturbance. These birds are completely behaving naturally. They have no idea I'm here, undisturbed, and I'm getting some pretty amazing fishing shots. It's perfect. It's like beyond perfect. It's perfect. It's awesome. So I'm getting ready to pack it in here. It's been insanely good. I got a little carried away with my shooting and not much vlogging, video taking. I was just blasting stills of these birds fishing, catching fish, interacting. It's been really incredible. This is, again, I think I mentioned it before, you know, an opportunity that without a blind, this never would have happened. I never would have been able to sneak up on a place like this and get this kind of coverage. Birds behaving naturally, doing what they do, coming extremely close to the blind, and all, you know, just oblivious of my presence here. So I was able to sit here for 4 hours, 5 hours, very comfortably, and just shoot this amazing spectacle of these birds descending on these trapped fish. And as long as this pond is drying up, I'm expecting these birds will still be here over the next few days, so I'll definitely be coming out again and keep working on this. It's too good of an opportunity to pass up. I'm super excited to get home and start going through these photos and sharing them with you. I started peeking at the back of my camera, and plenty of good stuff to share from here, so I'll look forward to that, and see you later. Thanks for coming along with me on this first bird wildlife photography vlog. Hopefully I've just shown you some pictures from this morning. I'm pretty excited. I think I've got some good stuff, so hopefully you agree. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave some comments below about what you'd like to see more of in the videos, what kind of content, and I'll take a look at that stuff. Also, if you're interested, check out my book, Photography Birds, published by Mountaineers Books. I'll leave a link in the description below. So it's been an awesome morning. I'll try to be out here a couple more days this week, taking advantage of this amazing opportunity with these herons and egrets. And we'll see you next time. So good luck with your shooting. Have a great fall, and see you next time.